Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies Dumbass of the Year edition for June. With me, as always, is my co-host for these episodes, the pride of Auckland, New Zealand, Benny Mack. How you doing?
I am doing awesome. How are you doing there, buddy?
I'm doing great, man.
I am freaking hyped. Hey, we just won the freaking America's Cup. New Zealand just took home the America's Cup. I'm psyched. But anyway, enough about that. Those schmucks out on the yachts. What are we doing?
Oh, we got a good lineup today. We have 3 prime dumbasses, one of which me and you named on the last episode.
Oh, nice. Is he? Okay, let's. I'm curious to hear what happens.
Well, the first one is from the June 6th episode. It's a tourist who was harpooned 9 times by fishermen in Thailand after putting on a shark fin as a prank to scare his friends.
So was it actually his friend that actually harpooned him 9 times, or was it just some other random locals? I want to hear the full story on this one.
Well, they went to Thailand on vacation. I think it was their first day there of a 2-week vacation.
Oh, that's. I mean, like stubbing your toes, one thing. Getting harpooned 9 times on the first day, that's going to put a sour sort of note on the whole trip.
The guy thought he was funny, put the thing on, and next thing you know, he's surrounded by fishing boats, and they just started harpooning the shit out of this guy. Now, I think at least the first one, I know they thought it was a shark. That first harpoon, maybe the first 2 or 3. Because it was a lot of boats. But after the 5th or 6th time, they had to know it was a guy. Because he screamed the first time he was harpooned.
At that point, they were just angry that it wasn't a shark, you know? They were disappointed, you know? They thought they had an awesome feast, you know? They could make a whole lot of money. However, it's some schmuck buffooning around in the shallows in a costume. Ain't nobody got time for that.
It's just some white dumbass.
So he was actually on holiday. He thought, okay, we're going to do the shark fin thing. Oh my God, did he survive, or was he actually just literally killed?
No, he made it, which is surprising after 9 times.
What kind of whack harpoons were they using?
That's a good point.
We know a thing or two about harpoons down here in New Zealand. I mean, whale hunting, that was a big thing down here. You know, they used to harpoon those whales for their blubber. But, you know, you don't need to be using a toothpick for a harpoon or even one of those fondue forks either. You just need to get a hold of something sharp and pointy. 9 times and he's still alive? Hey, he did good.
Yeah, when I think of a harpoon, I'm thinking something that gets thrown at something like a whale. And it seems like these were just kind of bamboo spears or something. I can't imagine surviving nine harpoons.
I'm glad he made it. He deserved to survive. You know, he was still on holiday. Hopefully he enjoyed the trip. Hopefully the lacerations weren't too bad and he could still use all the facilities that were his amenities.
I think the worst part is it took 6 hours to take this guy to the nearest hospital. And that had to be a long ride.
Is he in the wilds of Africa or something?
Yeah, they must not have too many hospitals in Thailand, I guess. I don't know. I've never been there.
Guess that's the case, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe you can go to a witch doctor or something. Maybe they're going to put more venom into the wound. That's what you got to deal with over there in the bush. The jungle people do it differently. That's for damn sure.
We have an unofficial nominee by the guest that was on that show. Her name's Jessica Grau. It was a man who put a pressure cooker bomb under his ex-girlfriend's bed, and it didn't go off, but there were kids sleeping in the next room, and apparently if it would have went off, it would have killed them too. That one's not so funny. That's just fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how those work. I mean, I've seen the crock pot. I know how that works. You put the piece of pork in there, you leave it for a couple of days simmering away on the thing. Hopefully that doesn't blow up. I've seen the pressure cooker. It's sort of the same way that they cook the chicken down there at KFC. I think we were talking about them in the last podcast.
Yeah.
A pressure cooker under the bed, that's a high pressure situation. You don't want to do that. And questions start relaying off in my mind, such as, did he have to put a LPG cooker, a propane gas cooker under the bed to cook this pressure cooker? Or was there some other means of explosion? I don't know. It didn't go off.
I think just judging by his reaction, we know who got dumped.
Oh, man. He could be saying, well, I was just trying to cook dinner. I wanted to keep an eye on the dinner. It's a great excuse. So it didn't go off. So he's an absolute jackass.
Yeah.
That guy's a dumb jackass. Okay.
The next one.
So what do you have in there? Nails?
I didn't ask her that, but I presume it'd be something like that.
Did you know the woman?
Yeah, she was on the show.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, people. So this is connected to the show. Okay, I think we shouldn't get into this too much. My lawyer, I think I've got a text here from my lawyer saying I can't actually discuss this into show topic, man. It's a breach of my obligations, you know? Us artists aren't supposed to talk about other artists in that manner. That's her thing. If she wants to cook it up under the bed, under a little bit of pressure, that's her gig. Homie, don't play that.
The next one we have is from the June 15th episode. It was the one that me and you did. It was a Florida man who was accused of making a hoax 911 call for a ride to Hooters.
He was in a desperate situation. I believe it was his grandmama. He gave this false sort of account of a situation involving emergency assistance required.
He said she had a stroke. And instead of, he was worried she was going to have a stroke. So what he said on the 911 call, because I actually listened to that, and the dispatcher keeps asking, hey, do you want me to send somebody down? And he said, no, I just need you to take me to her.
maybe he'd been caring for that old ass lady for so many years that he had created this paradigm inside his mind that says, only he can heal her.
He's got a savior complex.
Oh man, that was crazy. That is inverse Munchausen, isn't it?
Yeah, and the weirdest part is the police talked to the grandma. And she did talk to him that day, but she wanted him to come get his shit from her house. So I'm not sure how good of a relationship they had. But
so maybe exactly. He had a grudge. He wanted to get her in the news before she died. He wanted to make her famous in the worst way, like Beyonce. So anyway.
He did help somebody. He was helping his girlfriend with a car problem in the Burger King parking lot when they found him and arrested him for a felony count of misuse of 911.
You got to respect that emergency services call system. Sure, exactly. It's not cops manning the line. It's what do they call them? Plainclothes? Civvies?
Yeah, I forget the exact title, but yeah, that's close.
It's still a misdemeanor, They still hold some kind of power. If you threaten them, it's like threatening a police dog, They're going to put you down in the worst way. Anyway.
Well, we had a week off after that. The show didn't have a week off. We just didn't name a dumbass. There was an accidental episode, and then there was a people court version of the show. And that brought us to the June 26th episode, where I talked to my friend Kenny Bolin. If you haven't heard of him, you may have heard of John Cena. Do you know who that is?
I have, and I'm sure all the listeners have heard about him too. He's actually... He used to fight with my buddy The Rock. Me and Dwayne Johnson went to high school together.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I taught him how to wrestle. I used to put him in a headlock down by the locker. There's a meme on there out there. So what happened with this guy?
Well, Kenny Bolin used to manage John Cena. And he's a good friend of mine. He was on the show. One of Kenny's best friends is an old wrestling manager named Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette did not know that 40 years ago, Kenny fed him Long John Silver's from a dumpster.
Oh.
And it was just revealed not too long ago. And since there wasn't a real good story out there and Kenny was on the show, we named Jim Cornette this week's Dumbass of the Year. And if anybody out there listening knows Jim Cornette, he kind of has a temper. So I'm sure if he knew he was this week's Dumbass of the Year, he would be very mad. If he found out he won for the month of June, he would probably explode and be at my house.
I can imagine, man. I imagine he would give a beat down. He'd probably throw you or I in the dumpster. Probably you, Mr. Marshall.
There's a video out there on YouTube of him getting mad at some lady who worked at the Dairy Queen. He was going through a drive-thru, It was him and a bunch of wrestlers. I think they ordered, I don't know, something like 40-some burgers. And the lady thought it was just a prank, so she didn't make them. And when they pulled around to the window, he got really mad that she thought it was a prank and just lost his mind.
He lost his freaking mind, man. He's trying to feed these wrestlers. That's no good. You know, if you're rolling with the people like John Cena and you roll up to a Dairy Queen, you place an order, you expect to be taken at face value. You don't want to be thought of as a joke. You don't want them to laugh in your face.
Now that I think of it, it might not be the good time to mess with Jim because he just got an emergency order of protection against him from another wrestling writer. So
My God.
He's already kind of pissed.
This guy's got a thin skin. He holds a grudge and he comes back at you with a vengeance. Does he carry a gun or is he cool like that?
Well, from what I heard, I don't want to say too much bad about the guy. He is a good dude.
Okay.
He's supposed to be on the show here soon.
Okay, I think I got another text from the lawyer saying, yeah, we roll right across that subject. We don't talk about that guy.
Well, thankfully, you're in New Zealand and he's afraid to fly, so I think you're safe. I'm probably screwed. He lives about 3 hours away. That's close enough for him to drive.
You could get one of those American snipers, you know, and he'd only have to get there halfway. But anyway, what we got?
So we got the guy who was harpooned 9 times by fishermen because he decided it would be a good idea to put a shark fin on.
I like that guy. Entertaining. You know, he wants to liven up the holiday. He wants to up the heart rate of his colleague who he's on holiday with. Maybe it's his friend. Maybe it's a family. And maybe he just wants to create a memory for life. He strapped on the fin.
He's got a lot of scars to prove it.
Oh, man. Well, that's it. Some people take away a relic. Someone might carve a spoon out of a piece of wood and use that to feed their newborn child as a memory of a holiday or a time or a place. This guy, his buddy got a tattoo. However, this character, 9 harpoons. I heard one punctured the spleen. He had to get that stitched on up.
He seems like somebody we need to keep an eye on because I'm pretty sure
get him on here.
He could be nominated again pretty soon, I think.
I think that he will be back up to his old tricks soon enough. Maybe what it'll be, maybe 12 fish hooks to the face. I don't know. It could be anything. Maybe he could swallow a dozen sinkers.
We had a guy from Brazil who was this week's Dumbass of the Year 2 or 3 weeks in a row. I just now thought of that guy. I'm going to have to look him up and see what he's up to. I would love to get that guy on the show. What's that?
He's a busy guy. That guy's got some serious kudos. That guy, yeah, we need to get him on here.
Yeah. Let's see. One time he was trying to raise awareness for something about the rainforest, so he put a vampire bat in his mouth. There was another time.
Old trick. I was actually in Indonesia one time, and me and a bunch of friends were at a pet market, and I too put a vampire bat in my mouth.
Really?
Yeah, it was cooked. It was delicious.
What's the strangest thing you've ate?
Probably the vampire bat.
Okay, because if you were able to top it, that would be amazing.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I've ate a lot of weird stuff, man. I can't top that, which is surprising.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
I know. I mean, I actually went and stayed at that place where they have these little raccoon-type cats. They're kind of like lemurs.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And they go around, they eat these little coconut berries, and they turn into coffee shit.
Yeah, somebody sent me some of that.
Apparently, those are so amazing. They sell them for an astronomical rate. I don't know who the keeper of the cat is or why he picks up the cat's cack, but apparently it tastes superb.
Yeah,
I'm not much of a coffee drinker myself, I must say.
Somebody sent me some of that, and it was pretty good, I gotta say. I wouldn't pay for it. It was a lot of money. I was surprised they just sent it to me and didn't expect it.
And I've got a line in here from my online broadcasting audience, and they say they do it with monkeys too. So I don't know if that's true. It sounds pretty average to me, but.
Huh. So out of I don't think we got to the other two. So we got the guy who was harpooned 9 times. We got the man who was accused of making the 911 call for a ride to Hooters. And we got Jim
don't abuse
Cornette.
the system.
What's that?
Don't abuse the emergency system,
Yeah.
Those operators are trying to do God's work. Those are called the miracle minutes, Don't waste them.
I got to say...
Was the last guy again? Our last guy.
The last guy was Jim Cornette, who found out 40 years too late that he ate Long John Silver's out of a dumpster by his best friend. And when he found out, Kenny actually told him when they were recording an episode for Jim Cornette's podcast called The Jim Cornette Experience. Jim was so upset. He stopped the show and went to throw up.
Oh my God. Okay, so like some people do dumpster dive for food, some people are trying to make a statement to the system. Some people are just trying to save a little bit of money. But legend has it that he was fed Long John Silver's, in the worst way. There's one, sometimes you drive through and the food don't taste right. You think, how long's this been sitting there for? Well, this stuff had been sitting there. And fish is the worst, right? I mean, hey, it was probably that frozen fish, so it probably already had that little funny stank to it. So maybe that gave him that IBS that he's been suffering from the last 40 years, Maybe that just put his bowel over the edge. And he's spent thousands of dollars on medication, and all it was one dumpster,
Jim is a germaphobe, so if finding out about it's great.
Man, maybe that built up his immune system, and maybe that was a good thing.
Yeah, I like that. That's a positive spin.
Okay, buddy, just let him know that his immune system is just peaking.
I just can't imagine having that happen to you and just having no clue. That's
I know, right? I know.
It's just so gross.
I ordered one of those. I don't know if you've got them over there. I get it from a Burger King. It's called a BK Hawaiian chicken. It's got the chicken. It's got the pineapple. It's got the bacon. It's got the cheese. It's got a lot in there. Look, they gave it to me without the freaking bacon.
Ooh.
And the chips were cold. I felt like I was eating food out of a damn dumpster. I felt dirty. I felt vulnerable, I didn't know what to do. I was shivering. I was cold. I was clutching a damn paper bag. I was scared. But look, you just got to drive back through. Sometimes you just got to drive back around. You know what I'm saying?
The best part is Jim was really excited to eat it because Kenny had about $100 worth of food in that bag. And Jim could not wait.
Man. He got so angry, okay? So he's an angry guy, volatile guy. You don't want to get him. You don't want to get on the wrong side of him, okay? If he says to do something, he expects it to be done. If you give him his word to do it, he expects you to do it at 100%. He doesn't want to drive around to the second window and realize that his order hasn't been fulfilled. It's called an order for a reason. I order you to do this, motherfucker. It's my burgers. It's my reality. It's my buddies. Whether it be eating from a dumpster or from the drive-through window, it's all trash food. But it's my trash food.
Him getting sick about it was the icing on the cake, though.
Oh, yeah, man. Some people just have those reflex gut reactions. My friend the other day, he almost got sick, vomited. He hadn't been at his house for a long time, and the washing machine apparently had got stuck, and for some reason there was some of that nasty water in there. It was stinking the place up good. But let me tell you, that guy can't handle anything, He's got a very weak stomach. And there's other people that can just handle the most insulting odors you can imagine. But this guy, just even the mere thought of it sent him to the aisle.
Yeah, they had to pause the podcast recording.
That's when you need a toothbrush, maybe some of that mouthwash. I don't know what you call it. We call it Listerine.
Yeah.
You want to swill that around. Some people might want to reach for the Benadryl. Or what do they call that? What do they call that? The Robitussin? I don't know. Something to make the front row clean. Maybe someone might reach for that purple drank. I guess it all depends where you're from.
All right. So who are you voting for? Or who should we kick off the list?
Well, the guy that got stabbed 9 times, that's a surefire way to ruin a holiday. That's a surefire way to ruin a holiday, you know?
The worst is it was the first day of 2 weeks.
Exactly. It's like getting sunburnt on the first day of the holiday. You're going to regret the whole holiday. You're going to be thinking about the bill. Now he's got medical expenses. He's scarred for life. I don't know. What do you think, man? What do you think? Help me out here.
Well, I think the first person we should kick off is the guy in Florida who made the 911 call. It was a good story, but
Hooters, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
No, you're right. You know, you really shouldn't use your grandmother as a pawn in your dirty tactics. Use that. You shouldn't lie about that situation for any reason. Trying to get out of work, trying to get a free lift, trying to use it as a taxi service.
The 911 call was the best. I'm going to try to find that, and I'll put it up on the website. Just go to wedon'thavecookies.com. It was a good call. The dispatcher was was very confused.
Okay, we're going to delete this guy. Buddy, you have been deleted off the list. You didn't put anyone's life at risk. Why didn't you do that? You should have actually there should have been a thing like you should have fallen asleep on the boot on the car like last time. But anyway,
great.
I love that guy. That guy was cool. Okay, so we're deleting him. You have been deleted.
That brings us to the tourist and Jim Cornette. I really want to give it to Jim, but that tourist, man, taking 9 harpoons over a prank.
I can't get over that guy, you know. That's blood. That's like bleeding, you know. If it bleeds, it leads. That's kind of like the news, you know. But this, you know, you just got to be cool, you know. Like you can't. The thing about the fish, yeah. Know what? Nobody wants to eat bad fish. I know that. But the thing about the burgers, you know, you've got to be cool with the staff at a restaurant, okay? It might be a fast food restaurant, but you've got to be cool with them. You can't treat them like trash. They're humans too. They're preparing your food. They could do anything to that food. They could, you know, taint that food.
You know what? I might put that video up on the website of Jim losing his shit over at Dairy Queen.
I think you should. Okay, that's going to be on wedon'thavecookies.com. Have a look around for that. We're going to nestle it up in there. We'll talk to our web developers. They know how to do all the code.
He damn near goes through the window.
Damn.
Crazy.
Nice.
Honestly, the only reason I really want to give it to Jim is just so when he comes on the show, I can say that we have this month's Dumbass of the Year. But I think that just taints the whole process. So
yeah, I completely agree. Look, what I think we can do is we'll make him an honorary Dumbass of the Year, or the month. Maybe we just make him honorary Dumbass of the month. Just say we like his rage. We like what he we like the energy that he brought to the situation. Sometimes you need someone to stand up to that fast food worker and tell them what's good. You know, you're standing there with your money and you're paying, and you want to take home and receive what you've asked for. You don't want them to fulfill your order wrong.
Now,
that'd be a dark situation.
If you were,
what if I'm gluten or lactose intolerant?
If you were working at a fast food place and somebody ordered 40 burgers, would you ring that up, or would you just think they were full of shit too? Because that does seem like a lot of hamburgers.
That's a hell of a lot of burgers, folks.
Yeah.
I'd get them to drive through to the next window. I'd ring it up on the card. I'd charge it, and then I'd order it, punch it through to the kitchen, you know? Don't get wound up about it at either end, you know? You're just going to make it a simple situation hard on yourself.
I like that idea.
That's what the whole ordering process is. I tell you what I want. You listen to what I say. You punch it into the terminal, okay? The terminal rinses the money off of my card, sends it through to the kitchen. That's how it works, okay? Look, the other day, the lady punched in something wrong. She brought it out to the table wrong. We started eating it because she'd given it to us. It was like free food. She wanted us to pay for it. Well, we didn't, and we got angry. And anyway, let's not get too far into that. I sound like a right asshole. But we got free food.
Hey, it all worked out. So I think we both agree.
Punched it in right. You got to punch it in right. Otherwise, it doesn't go to the kitchen. The system gets fucked up, and you get angry customers, and they're the worst customers. So it was an honor to have him as that month's dumbass, that's for sure.
She's a mentionee for this month's Dumbass of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we both agree it's the guy who was harpooned 9 times by fishermen in Thailand, right?
I believe so. I think that's a bad way to start any holiday, getting harpooned 9 times by fishermen. You want to start off on a better foot.
I'm going to have to come up with some kind of picture with a little trophy that says this month's Dumbass of the Year and find these people on Twitter and give them their award.
I agree. We need that. We need to create a meme. I think we need a running series of memes. There must be some sort of generator. Maybe one of the fans or listeners can take that on board and do that, be the head of memes, the CEO of memes.
I like that.
Be a thing, We need people to step up.
Yeah. Well, before we go, the months of Jason are upon us. Jason is an acronym for July, August, September, October, November, plus it's my name.
I like that.
It's also going to be a great time for the podcast. The next 2 months, I have the shows all booked up. I don't want to say too much because of the show's curse for new listeners. Anytime I mention something is going to happen on the show, if I announce there's going to be a guest next week, it always falls through. So I try not to give too much out. But if everything goes as planned, it's going to be a lot of fun. What I will say, though, is at the end of July, that will mark the 2-year anniversary of the podcast, which I think is incredible. In just 1 year, in just 1 year, we have doubled the amount of time the podcast has been around. I think that's...
Dude, that is an accomplishment. I'm just going to congratulate you now. Congratulations. You've done bloody well, mate. That is just ultimate. It is just ultimate. I'm looking forward to Jason as much as you are, buddy.
There's a lot of shows out there that have been around 5 or 6 years, and they're not doubling the time they've been around in 1 year.
No, you have in effect maximized your productivity, buddy. This year you doubled up, buddy. You made big moves. Just like a baby grows twice as big in its first year, you just grew twice as big in your first year, and you're a big baby boy. And I think you're going to be crawling soon. You can just roll over and stop shitting yourself. No, buddy, you are 2 years old, man. You're a big boy. You're feeding yourself. You're talking in monosyllabic sentences. And you are doing good. Me, one, da, boo-boo.
I also want to give a shout out to Dave Blank. He mentioned me in a couple of comments on Facebook, one of which I'll be reading on the anniversary episode, so I want to give him a shout out. And if everything goes as planned, I'm probably going to jinx myself here. I said I wouldn't say too much, but the 2-year anniversary episode will be our 150th episode too. So
good numbers.
It's going to be a supersized show, probably about 2 hours or so, and knowing the curse of the show, it'll probably be a half hour, but we'll see what happens.
Midi size.
So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. You're in for a good time. Make sure you tell your friends to subscribe too, and spread the word, man. That's the only way the show's going to grow. So is there anything that you want to say before we get out of here?
This is Benny Mac. You can follow me at Benny Mac on Twitter. I'm broadcasting on Periscope right now, so smash on over to Periscope and see what I've been up to. Try and catch a live broadcast, and we'll catch up soon. Jason Marshall, loving it here with you, buddy.
Yeah, it's been a great time, man. It's been a hell of a last, what are we in, 6 or 7 months now doing this episode. So look forward to at least 3 or 4 more months.
Oh, mate, exciting times. Roll on next month, buddy. I can't wait.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for us. I hope you had fun, and make sure you tune in next Monday.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review.
We like his rage.